Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Swirl Suite. Thanks for joining us today. Hi, guys. How are you? What's going on?
Hi.
Hello.
We're
Hello.
good.
Well, wonderful. I am Sarita. You can follow me at Vine Me Up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, pretty much everywhere at Vine Me Up. You can also follow the Swirl Suite on Twitter or on Facebook and YouTube. So who do we have today? We are talking wine travel. Can we do some introductions? Tuanni, you're right next to me, so you might as well go first.
Hi everyone. Hi my lovely wine sisters. So I'm Tuanni Price, owner of Zuri Wine Tasting and Tours, and thanks for having me.
Of course.
Tanisha?
Hi, I'm Tanisha at Girl Meets Glass, and I'm happy to be here.
All the way from Paris.
All the way from
All the way
Paris.
from Paris, yes. So start your wine travels there on my tour. Look.
Leslie.
Hello, everyone. I am Leslie Freelo with Vino 301. We are all things Maryland wine.
Yay. So today we are talking wine travel. Wine travel is pretty big in the U.S. and I want to pull up a Did You Know? So this is the most traveled wine explorer of the wine world of 2015, according to Wine Enthusiast magazine. And so these are the most popular wine regions of 2015, and I'll read you. It's only 10. So number one, I don't know if this is an order of number or rank or what, but I'm just going to read them. So Finger Lakes, USA. Okay. Piedmont, Italy. Hawke's Bay, New Zealand. Rhone Valley, France.
I was gonna say if I
Orlando,
could get some, I wouldn't have got that.
Orlando, USA. I'm shocked by that one.
Is
Orlando.
it Florida? Right. Is there an
Florida.
Orlando, California?
There is not. Unless Tuanni, is there an Orlando, Florida?
Right. That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida.
Yeah. Okay, Galatia, Spain. Okay, let me see if I say this right. Okanagan, Canada. Did I say that
Yep.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Loire Valley, France.
Yeah.
Mendocino, California, USA. And how do you say this? Istria or Istria, Croatia?
Istria.
Istria. Yes.
Mhm.
So those are the
Croatia.
10
Yeah.
most popular wine
Wow.
regions.
I don't know about
2000.
that Orlando.
I don't either,
Listen.
because that's not a wine region. What? That doesn't even
Well,
make sense.
I didn't learn
Yeah.
that.
I will definitely
Interesting.
tweet the link out for you, but it says 10 best wine travel destinations for 2015, and according
So
to
are you
Wine
going to?
Enthusiasts.
So maybe you're going to Disney World for this wine, because that's really all
Listen,
that's in
I don't
Orlando.
know.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
know what?
know.
I think
I
that
think
it's
the wine's at Disney World.
because they have a big food and wine festival, and they have gotten onto the wine bandwagon. So if you're saying they're a destination point, I could see that because people love Disney, and then they also
Mhm.
have those attractions there. So that's
Yeah,
the
I'm
only way I
thinking
could
that.
see
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
yep. I definitely. Now that I thought about it, I'm like, that's a Disney thing.
And so they will,
Orlando.
once I post this link on Twitter, if you click on this particular region, they'll tell you what the budget type is, what to do, where to stay, and all of this kind of stuff. So it's a really good article. Yeah, I was very surprised at Orlando as well.
Well,
But
I'll definitely replace Stellenbosch with Orlando. Or Napa, or like, oh my gosh, there's so many.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
No,
I haven't been to any of
totally
those
agree.
places. No, I
Yeah.
haven't been to any of those places.
Yeah.
Nowhere you
And
named.
yeah, and Tuanni, actually, it was Tanisha's idea to have you on because you recently traveled to South Africa for wine, and I thought that was
As if we
absolutely
needed an
awesome.
excuse to have Tuanni on. But it was
Exactly. But but I thought wine travel was a perfect subject for us today. But so I have a question because I have a lot of questions because I haven't really traveled much for wine.
So this is the girl who just came back from Loda. Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's California. I'm sorry, it's California. I want you to stop. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, stop. Okay, girl. What's your question? What's your question, girl?
No, my question is, how do you decide where to go first?
Well, I mean, I kind of just have this list in my head of places that I want to go, and it just opportunities. Like when I went to Spain, I knew I wanted to experience wine, so I kind of looked at the different regions, and I went to Galicia actually because I had what is it called? What's the wine in Spain? Is it Vino Verde? No, it's Albarino. Albarino. That's what. So Albarino. So I had Albarino in the States, and I didn't really like it, and so I figured if I go there and eat it with the food, then it would be a
really.
And it honestly so I was like, I want to go where they grow Albarino. So when I went to Spain, I took the train to Galicia, and I had Albarino on by the ocean with seafood, and it was a totally different wine.
So that's what bosses do.
Okay, how about it? Because not many people know that Albarino is called the wine of the sea.
Yeah,
it goes perfectly with seafood.
Yeah, and you can taste the sea. I mean, I don't know if it was in my head, but I swear that I could taste the sea when I was tasting it in Galicia.
Wow.
But South Africa was kind of like a different story because I've always wanted to go to South Africa. So I've always dreamed of going to South Africa ever since I was in junior high school, and I would protest for apartheid, and I would meet South Africans who were wonderful people. And so me being in the wine business now, I said, okay, well, I'm going there, but I really want to experience the wine. And so I just started doing some research, and Stellenbosch had this really cool school for Black South Africans. And so I was like, I want to volunteer at the school, so I'm going to stay in Stellenbosch.
Seriously? Wow. Talk about overachiever. My God.
Yeah. And that was definitely a question that I had, was how the school part came up. Because when I saw that, I was like, that might be the most amazing thing I've heard. Let me find out that she did that. And let me figure out who I can talk to and start doing that kind of thing. Like, why not?
I mean, and it was volunteer, so it wasn't like it was paid, but it was worth it, and I got paid, emotionally.
You were highly enriched emotionally, spiritually. You just were emotionally paid.
It's called Pinotage Youth Development Academy, and they need people to come and just talk to the students, encourage them.
Wow.
I taught, the name of my class was How to Be Your Own Boss. So
what?
Yeah, so they're in school to learn about the wine industry, and I know I'm getting off subject a little bit, but they're in school.
No, please, go on.
They're in school to learn about the wine industry, and it's I forget how long the program is, but it's a year, something like that, right? And so they teach them everything from the vineyards all the way through to making the wine and working in a tasting room. And so I was like, okay, learn these skills, get a job after you graduate from this school, but then always think in the back of your mind, how can you make your own money? If you're already working in a tasting room, maybe people in your community or just tourists, you could teach a wine tasting class, go to their hotel rooms and teach class, or go to different restaurants and say, hey, listen, can I borrow some space because I want to have a class? And it was great. They were so appreciative, and they were like, wow, I never really thought about having my own business. That was the best thing. But I found this school because I was doing some research, so I knew I wanted to do something wine related. And there's this Black winemaker in South Africa. Her name is, oh my God, I always mess up her name, Nziki. And she works for a really popular winery down there. She's an amazing winemaker. She travels the world talking about wine. And so I started doing research on her, and then she was on the board for this school, so that's how I found out about this school.
Amazing.
Wow.
But still gorgeous.
So how long did you teach? Was it just a one-day course kind of thing, or?
2 days. So
okay.
It was 2 days. So I taught 2 full days. Well, the first day was for the graduates. It was just a California wine tasting. So I took some wine from California, from my hometown, wine that I had collected, some of my favorites, and I just taught a wine class, how to taste wine, and then they tasted all these wines. That was for the graduates. And then the second day I went back, and then that's when I taught the How to Be Your Own Boss class. No, that was the first day too, because that was in the second session. And then the next day I went back for another tasting for California wines, and that was for the students. And it was amazing because for some of them, most of them, it was only their second time in life having wine. There was one person in the class, it was her first time, because most of the students come from disadvantaged neighborhoods. A lot of them come from townships where they don't really get to drink wine and do these things. And I call them kids, but they were like 18 to 22.
Okay.
So, it was there, and 18 is the legal drinking age there. So it was pretty awesome.
That sounds amazing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was great.
I'm sitting here kind of in shock. Like, I don't know what to say. I had 70 questions.
It was.
I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know.
So I have a filmmaker who's putting together a documentary. He shot the whole.
See what I'm talking about here?
Class.
Yeah, filmmaker. All right.
Filmmaker.
Right, we finna be at Sundance shouting out to
No, but it was the most amazing experience because there was this one. I actually did a Google Live on this part where I said, introduce yourselves, tell me your name, where you're from, and like what do you want to do? Like what do you want to do in the wine business? So like all of these students got up, and it's so great to have people that look like us, right? And a classroom, 26 students, and they all stand up and they say, I want to be a winemaker. I want to work in a tasting room. I want to own my own vineyard. All these things that are wine related, and they were all so excited about this.
Oh,
We don't have that here. Like, how do we?
Right.
yeah.
No, girl, because we want to be rappers. We want to be rappers.
Basketball players and rappers, right?
Right.
Wow. So, the same question for Tanisha and Leslie. How do you decide where you want to visit for wine? You can be honest.
For me,
Just get invited
right, I picked it out.
Right, exactly.
And real talk, and actually, that's what I was about to say. I was like, actually, it is selected for me because, like, I get invited somewhere, or I find out about a program and I apply, and then I get accepted, and so then that's where I go.
Okay, can you tell us
somebody
more
says,
about...
hey, we're about to do this. You want to come?
Okay. Can you tell us more about, like, maybe one of the programs that you were invited to?
Okay, so, and this was a while ago, but they were doing an International Malbec Days in Cahors, France. And I had done, like, a lot of posts about Malbec and just talking about the French Malbec and then the Malbec from Argentina. And so they're like, hey, well, we have this program. We're doing a festival. It's going to be, like, 3 days. Are you interested? We can send you some information. I was like, sure, send me some information. And then they hit me back and was like, okay, well, will you be leaving from D.C.? Are you available these days? Send me your passport number. I was like, why do you need my passport number? What are you talking about? So I just sent it or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, you're all booked. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm what? She sent me a full itinerary with the hotel information, my flight, everything. I was like, wait.
God.
I was like, am I going on this trip? And so I was like, oh, and she was like, is everything okay? Do we need to change anything? I'm looking forward to meeting you, see you in, however the time was. I was like, wait a minute. I think I'm going on a trip to France. Think, baby. And sure enough, yeah, I went to Cahors, went on this trip to, taste the 700 different Malbecs.
Wow.
Which was exciting and interesting, and I met a ton of people, like some that I still talk to today. There were some issues with the trip, but since it was like my first trip of that kind, everything was great to me, but other people were like, I don't like this, and it should be like this, and da-da-da-da. Well, whatever. But the only real serious issue I had was the fact that it was about 90, 92 degrees, and we were drinking Malbec. There needed to be some, like, you all know what Malbec is about. We're drinking Malbec outside on the bridge, and any other time it would have been beautiful, and they had a barbecue and everything. I was like, y'all know it's 92 out here. Y'all don't have.
Like, I'm putting some ice in my Malbec right now.
Right. I'm like, I'm gonna need y'all to bring out the rosé of Malbec. I need you to bring that out. So let us drink that. They had one rosé, maybe two. They weren't iced. I was like, okay, so
Wow.
I tasted like 3. It was like, look, I'm gonna take these 5 pictures and go back somewhere.
And so, was this before or after you got your certifications, or which one did you have at this point?
At that point, I think I might have just had my just the WSET level 2. I don't even think I was level 3 then.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I was level 3 then. Mm-mm.
Okay.
So do you
No,
still
but it was a
have?
great trip. So that. Go ahead, Dustin.
Oh, I was going to say. So do you still have the same appreciation now as your first trip to other trips
Yes.
you've taken?
Yep. I'm always amazed when someone asks me to go somewhere or I apply to something and get accepted. Like, you would think that I would still just start now. And I remain like extremely humble. I don't think like, well, I'm supposed to get this because, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am always like, I'm excited to go. I always think everything is great. Every place is amazing. I mean, not all the wines are delicious. I can't even lie and say that. But like, I just welcome every experience because I know it's stuff that a lot of people don't get to do, and also stuff that I didn't even know like existed. That's the thing that gets me the most. I see things and I'm like, look at the world. Like, just look at this.
Yeah.
Like, this exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you meet good people, and then again, like, you travel for wine. There's wine involved. So how can you really be that mad? It's
Really? Yeah.
Exactly.
You could drink it. You could drink it.
Leslie, same question for you.
So I don't think I really travel for wine. I travel, and then somehow wine is incorporated in the travel.
Okay.
So I may be there for something else, but I am going to find wine someplace and have a different experience. And it was funny. I was in Minneapolis, which is the wine capital of the world. And they were having a wine tasting at my hotel, and it was interesting because some of the varietals that are very popular and do well on the East Coast, they had there, which I never suspected because I thought their season would be really abbreviated and they wouldn't have that many varietals there or that selection. So that was interesting. So I think you can turn any trip into a wine trip.
I like it.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I've gone
I mean, all over the states, all over the world. Yeah, I totally believe that.
Okay.
Yep.
So my next question for y'all is, does cost matter? Like, say Tanisha and Leslie. Say, Leslie, you weren't at a wine country and you wanted to travel for wine. Say, Tanisha, you weren't invited somewhere and you wanted to travel. Does cost come into effect? Does cost or distance come into effect when you choose where you want to go?
Absolutely. But so does planning. Planning comes into effect as well. Like next weekend, I'm actually going to Nantes in the Loire Valley, so I'll add that to my list, which would be one of the places that was on your list. And I found out about this wine hike they do. I mean, I don't know if I'm prepared to walk these. I think it's 5 kilometers. I don't know. I think I'm about to walk a 5K. But we have wine stops in between, and I had to pick one of the tours that spoke English, so I couldn't pick from as many that were available. But it's a wine, a vineyard hike, and so I picked that because I just saw it, and I was like, that's close. I can get to Loire in 2.5, maybe 3 hours by train. So I'm like, I'll make a weekend out of it. I looked to see what else there was to do in Nantes, and then I actually found that they have a slave museum there because Nantes was like where they brought the slaves in when they were bringing the slaves into France. So that isn't an expensive trip. That was just something that came out of convenience. But if there is somewhere that I want to go and I want to, and it may be costly, then I just plan. I'm going to Barcelona in September and taking a trip to the Penedès region. And that's something that I just planned. Well, not just planned, but that's something that I planned out starting back in like February, March. It was planned and organized. So it's not like it just popped up and like, all right, let me spend this money, next week and go. So if something's just more expensive, just take the time to plan it. Other things that are closer, Loire, that's closer, I don't have to take as much time to plan that, so it's not going to be anything to really get down there.
Right.
So I mean, you just take some time and plan it. You can kind of go wherever you want to go.
Okay.
And then off season is good too.
Mm-hmm.
If you're traveling to these places like now from September, through the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
it's also much more affordable than if you're trying to travel somewhere in June or July when everyone's trying to go.
Okay. And
So,
Leslie and Tuanni, I'd like to hear from you too. How far out do you start planning?
Well, that's what I do for a living. So I plan wine-related travel for a living. I'm planning a tour to South Africa next summer in July of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And is right, like if you go in the off season, so that's the winter time in South Africa. And so like I was there this July and everything was it was like inexpensive because it wasn't the high season. So like the hotels were like 30% cheaper than they would in September and through December. And then weekend trips, because I live in California, we have so many wine areas. It's so easy to just be like, oh, okay, today I'm going to drive up to Santa Ynez and go wine tasting, or even to fly up to San Francisco and go to Napa. But big trips I usually plan like a year in advance.
Okay.
I would have to agree. For big trips, definitely we'd have to, plan that. Especially because you want to do research. You don't want to miss out on anything. And if it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get back there, you want to try to see as much as possible so you want to do the research beforehand. But just, I'm going along the East Coast into Virginia and up to the Finger Lakes or what have you. That can be a little more impulsive and say, oh, I heard about this place. Let me go check it out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, Tuanni, you can start with this one. What is the first thing you do when you decide on where you're going to go and when? What is the first thing that you do?
The first thing I do is probably, I look for the wine region. So, like, I went to Italy in April, and it was really quick trip, but I didn't really plan this one as well, but I knew that I wanted to go to Piemonte. I wanted to taste some Barolo, some Barbaresco, and so I did some research to see like where, like what areas these places they grow in, and if I can find a good region, transportation, if there's a train or a bus or something that can get me to these regions. I look for wine tours. I usually like to take, when I'm traveling by myself, I usually like to take wine tours just so I can see what other people are doing and how they're doing it. So I'll go to Viator, look for wine tours, Groupon, look for wine tours. That's what I do.
Okay. Tanisha?
What's the question again? No, I'm kidding. Sorry. I'll just buy myself some more time to figure out my answer. So what do I do next? For me, and this is, weird. I am not a planner, so I might just look up like 2 or 3 things that kind of exist in that place and then try to figure out how to do them. Or, if it's a wine region, like I kind of already know like what the wines are, so I'm like, all right, let me just get there and then ask the concierge or, something like that.
Okay.
I am somebody that just, like, wings it. It's
okay.
Yeah, so when people travel and they're like, no, I need to know what exactly I'm doing. It's Wednesday and it's 9:30. We need to be following the schedule. Like, I can't travel with you.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I find a couple things that I want, just make a list of a couple of things that I want to do and just make sure I get those in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leslie?
Oh, and I really like free walking tours. I love those. So whenever I go somewhere, I look to see if they have a free walking tour, and then I'll do that. Because those people are, like, really knowledgeable about what's going on, of course, of whatever they get the tour on. But then they know of, like, what's the coolest bar, what's, like, a nice spot to go to eat, or, like, what's the neighborhood, different neighborhood feels, that kind of thing. And then just get them, the donation at the end, and then we're good. So, yes, Leslie, sorry. I didn't mean to jump into you.
That's okay. I always, find out when people are open, because if I'm traveling, I'm usually traveling during the week. And a lot of the tasting rooms may not be open during the week. So I'm I want to make the best use of my time and see how I can divide and conquer. And it's all about the numbers. For me, if I can get in a lot in a short period of time, that's what I'm looking to do. Or if I have like a favorite wine or a winemaker that I'm interested in, I want to make sure I can find out where they are going to be, and not to stalk them, of course, but just to make sure that I'm there to meet them and to try their wine. But there's no stalking going on.
I did a little bit of stalking when I was.
I'm a proud stalker. I don't care.
Yeah, and when I was in South Africa, they have this restaurant called the Test Kitchen, and it's one of the top 50 restaurants in the entire world. The sommelier is a black guy, Tinashe, black sommelier at one of the top restaurants in the world, right? And so when I found this out, I was like, oh my God, I have to meet him. So I started stalking him. It was a hot mess. But I mean, I get what you're saying, Leslie.
But success, like, did you meet him? Like, wait, don't leave us hanging. What happened?
Well, I was speaking to Leslie's point because I wish I had done some research in advance and had stalked him before I went to South Africa.
Okay.
So I could have set it up.
Yeah, I started stalking him when I was there, and so then I couldn't really, we couldn't connect.
Right.
But now I have the information, so next time we're gonna connect. You guys should have one.
Yeah, would love to.
I just thought it was.
Yeah, we gotta work the time out.
Okay, so my next question is slightly personal.
Listen, we're gonna answer some questions.
What's up with this interrogation? I have to admit, I am not a traveler. I haven't been many places, so I'm asking all the questions.
Do you have any travel coming up? Any travel plans?
I'll be in Paris.
Are you doing anything?
So wait,
really?
We can have a hangout after.
Okay. Wait, are you going to Paris soon?
Yeah, no, I'm going to Paris at the end of October.
Nice. Are you going to go visit Tanisha?
Yeah. She don't know, but she's going to be my tour guide.
Okay.
Me and the husband. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Wait, so my next question is if you have a significant other or a friend with you that's not as into wine, how do you balance like your
then they're
passion?
not my friend, so I'm about out. They're not my friend. Can't see what it is. No. Somebody else can. I don't know who this person is.
No, you know what? That's a good question. So I have So I'm planning to go up to see Theopolis to her harvest party.
Oh, are you going? Oh, okay.
I'm going, and so I invited some friends, and this one friend was like, "Oh, well, I know this good restaurant and this good club in San Francisco that we can go to," and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is a wine-related trip. I just gotta let you know right now. I'm gonna be in Napa, and I'm gonna do most things that are related to wine and food in Napa, Sonoma. So, like, I just had to tell her.
Yeah. So if they aren't as interested, they just won't go, or how's that work?
They can drive. They're the driver.
Yeah, but they don't want to go to the winery because they're not interested.
Okay.
And I'm like, they're not my friend, so we have eliminated the problem.
I'm like, bye.
Okay. Say you have somebody who wants to go to the winery, but you want the full tour. You want to see the winery, you want to see the grapes, you want to see the vines, you want to see everything, and they just want to taste wine. Like,
they just sit on the couch.
Okay.
That's fine. I could just go to the tasting room, and then hold down a couple glasses till I get back. Yeah.
Okay.
You can't take me in wine country and not know that I'm gonna be like this wine geek. I want to go touch the dirt. Like, I'm like that. And I want to see everything.
But if they know you, they know that is your thing to do that. Like, I traveled with one friend, and he wasn't into wine. He was more into, like, the nature or what have you. We were in Portland. And so, he agreed to go to the vineyards with me to the tasting room, and then we would go hike some mountain. And so that's that was
give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you're not into wine, you got to be a good camera person. Like, you got to take these bomb shots of me and, get me ready for the gram. You got to have me looking right. Get this wind blowing. Get this shot. Get me right.
No, and it's important.
You got to be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend, she likes to go to Jamaica every year, so that's her trip. There's no wine in Jamaica. You're not drinking wine when you go to Jamaica. But we go to her trip and we do the Jamaica thing. But she knows when she comes with me, we're going to do a wine thing. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, do you at least go get some rum, maybe hit a distillery?
Because because people vacation in wine, and the lines can be very, very blurry, especially when you're studying wine and you're working in wine. The lines can be very, very blurry. I have come to find.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
But then I think, like, even if you do a wine trip or, like, vacation with wine, there is something there that somebody would like. Like, I was in Hungary earlier this year, and the friend that I was with likes wine, so it was fine. But it was also a spa that does, like, vino therapy. So it was a red wine bath, and then some of the scrubs that they use were from the grapes and stuff that they use from the vineyard. So that's something. It's not too many women that if you told them we're going to a spa, that they'd be like, no, I'm not really that interested. I don't really do massages and pedicures. That's just not my thing. Like, what? Like, then you doubly now can't be my friend.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Right. It's like, so what do you want to do? So if you can find something like that, and then that could be like something that something for you both. That you have the wine part, and then they do the wine part with you, and then, you also have the spa part.
Okay.
Which is, extremely relaxing. Like, spa, wine. Like,
yeah. There you go.
Which I actually need to do some more research and find some more places like that, because that was amazing.
Those wine products are amazing. I bought some recently, and the moisturizer and the oils made out of, like, wine grapes.
Yes. And the scrubs. Come through
that
scrubs.
sounds
I'm
great.
like, wait, my skin is so soft. I was like, my skin's like a baby.
I just got to wonder, though. I'm like, I drink wine, I'm putting it on my body. Am I a little obsessed now?
Oh, I'm well beyond that. I've already just accepted it, and I am fine with it.
Okay, so my next question is, so everyone has their travel standards. How willing are you to rough it out? In different places. Can you rough it out and sleep?
I've stayed at hostels.
Like, what do you mean rough it out? Like a tent?
Like, well, can you? Would you?
If you have wine, you can do anything, I feel like.
It depends on where we are with this tent and what, like, if you're talking like it's a tent and a sleeping bag, you know what, real talk, I probably would be fine with it. It depends on who I'm with, though. Like, there's some people I know will complain the whole time. That other people be like, all right, we got wine. Give me a couple sandwiches. We good. But for me, I rough it on stuff now. Because sometimes if, money tight at the moment, but it's somewhere that I really want to go because something's happening, then I'll rough it. Like, I've told you that I've couch surfed before. And y'all were like, okay, well, that might be too much for me. But, all right, it was somewhere I wanted to go. And I'm like, well, can't get a hotel room. Who couch can I stay on for free? Right. So, I did that. I've done hostels. Like, I'll do whatever.
It's roughing it to me. Like, have you ever stayed at a Motel 8? For real. It's craziness. Yeah. But, I mean,
well, we won't contact them for sponsorship. All right.
I think you have to manage expectations. Like, if
you do
know this is the environment that you're going in, managing expectations. It just has to be clean. That's all I'm asking. It just has to be clean.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Hostels aren't always, because you talking, it's like 6 of y'all in the room sometimes. So, you really have to manage that. I mean, and I'm not saying this to get hostels a bad name, because I've stayed at hostels where I've had a private room, but then I've also stayed in some that are dwarf style, where there's 6 people, 4 people. I've never done the mixed one, because that's just not how I live my life. I can't go that far and stay in the mixed 8-person, because no.
Okay. So were you concerned about your belongings because you didn't?
They have lockers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so they have a locker, so I put all my things in the locker, and I regularly sleep with my tablet because I'm watching it. So, that's just my thing. So I was fine as far as that's concerned. But yeah, lockers. And some people are like, but I can't be using everybody's sheets. I was like, isn't that every hotel you ever stay in?
Right, exactly.
So, like, the sheets I wasn't thinking about. Now, it was one particular hostel that I stayed in when I was in Switzerland because I literally just needed somewhere to put my stuff and, like, lay down for a second. Because my train didn't get in till, like, midnight. My train got in, like, a little after midnight. And the next day, I was going somewhere else in the afternoon. But I still want to tour. So I was like, let me just go ahead and stay in this hostel, whatever. I looked in the bathroom, and this one was, bathroom for the entire floor. I walk in there, and I look around. I was like, oh, I'm absolutely not doing this. My hotel is available at 1, and I'm sorry, everybody who's going to see me touring today because I'm not showering, but I'm just about to hit the city, and I'm just taking a shower when I get to the other hotel where I'm by myself. So that one wasn't the best, but I've been in other hostels. I checked in a hostel when I went to Turkey last year when I was in Istanbul. I get there, it was supposed to be, it was a room of 4, and they were like, yeah, so we're not that booked, so you had a room to yourself. Fantastic. Had the room to myself, and this was an in-suite bathroom. So now that I knew that existed, that will be what I do, find a hostel with at least a bathroom and a room.
Okay.
Then there are also hostels that have private rooms. So you can get a private room and still be at a hostel. So, and then your bathroom's in the room too. So it's like a hotel, and you are paying like 1/4 of the cost of a hotel.
Okay.
So it just all depends on how you want to rough it.
Okay.
Well, Airbnb, that's kind of how they started because they were design students in San Francisco. And they just had graduated from college and had this great new apartment, and I think the rent went up or what have you. And they were like, well, we can't move. We're not going to move. And there was a design conference in town, and so they said, we have an air mattress. And the design conference was overbooked. And they said, we're just going to put this air mattress out there and advertise that we have this space available. And 6 people signed up for that air mattress.
Wow.
And that's how the name Airbnb came along. What? It wasn't a B&B, it was the air mattress.
Wow.
And that's how they started.
That's what's up. See?
I use that a lot. That's a great way to get a room for like $30, $40 a night.
And it's in a lot of times not a lot of time, most of the time Airbnbs are in better locations than the hotels. Like you're like right in the middle of stuff when you get somebody's apartment. Hotels sometimes like on the outskirts or like super touristy, but Airbnbs will be like in cute little neighborhoods, and you get to see a lot more. You also have somebody who's helping you. Like really good Airbnb hosts will have a map, travel guides, all kind of stuff there for you to, read about and learn about. And sometimes they'll even be there to give you the keys to let you in, and you can get information from them. Ask them all the questions you need.
And when they're
excellent hosts,
they usually always leave you a bottle of wine. Hotel, you have to pay for that.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So yeah, that.
So
if you can't completely rough it.
Right. Absolutely.
But if
Airbnb, because I'll get a Metro pass, or try to take the bus somewhere instead of taking Uber all over the place.
Yep.
Or or a cab. I'm like, let me, that's also roughing it to some people. They're like, oh, Uber don't work here. Let me try my app.
So there was a really good article that came out recently. I think it's called Ciao Chicago. And it says people who I can't...
Oh, Chicago. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. People who can't travel with me. And I want you to recognize who you can't travel with. So number 5 is the chronic planner. That person is going to have an itinerary for every hour. Every hour.
I just talked about
minute.
that. Nope.
On vacation, mind you. On vacation, mind you. Okay.
I will
So
rip your schedule up and throw it in the trash.
Leslie, come on now.
okay, so
a little bit.
so number 4 is the all-nighter. That person that can stay up for 24 hours a day, always turned up, always, and can't chew. Like, you can't sit on the beach and read a magazine. You always got to be turned up. The all-nighter. That's number 4.
So I might low-key be number 4.
Okay.
But carry on with your list.
Okay, so number
I'm
3.
going to comment at the end.
The number 3 is the baller, the big baller. Always willing to drop the biggest dime for everything. Okay? So it says, so you you just got a bonus at work and you decide to splurge on every vacation. Okay.
Well, you know what? I'll save up. So I feel like if you save up and you go on vacation, I hate going on vacation with people who can't afford it. Why'd you go on vacation?
But that didn't make this list. The poor person. The person who can't afford to be on vacation. That didn't make this list. But I'm going to continue on. So number 2 is the homesick. You know, y'all know the homesick. The husbands, the kids, they call in every 5 minutes, the whomever. And they just can't detach from home. Let's see. And then number 1 is the travel snob. They can't do anything below 5 stars. There we go.
That's the person. I think that one goes along with the travel baller.
No, I don't think so.
The travel snob. I mean, not like completely, but like that's like a part of it. Who's like, no, because if you're doing 5-star, well, that's not the poor person's travel plan. That's not the I'm staying at a hostel travel plan. I think when you travel with people, you need to know their style. Like if you're on a trip with ballers, then you need to know that.
But a lot of times,
you don't
discover who people are until you travel with them. You don't know. A lot of times you don't know until you travel with them.
Yeah, but then that's too. But I'm like the independent traveler. Like I can travel in a group, but I can also be by myself. Like I hate we need to add some people to this list. I hate the person when you travel with them, you can't go to the bath. They can't go to the bathroom by themselves. They're like, come with me to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
Me and Tanisha could go on vacation. And I'll be like, girl, I'm going to this one restaurant. She'll be like, oh, I can't afford it. I'll be like, okay, well, I'll see you when I get back. We can meet up for a drink.
Like, cool. Right. And I'll be like, okay, girl. I saw McDonald's 2 blocks up. I think I saw Popeyes. I'll see you later on.
No, I mean, because that's before.
I'm good.
And my friends are saying, how come you didn't invite me? I was like, because I knew it was expensive. It was something that I wanted to do. But I don't want to go to a restaurant and somebody's complaining, oh my God, this bread costs $10, you know? And not that I eat like that, not that I'm like that all the time, but, you know.
Yeah. And that's good that you're like that and conscious of it. Yeah. It's unfortunate when you go out and you pick a place and then you get there and then you look at the menu and the poor person is like, oh, I don't know what to do.
That would be considerate.
Because that's happened to me on both sides. That's happened to me, and I've been the poor person, and that's happened to me, and I've looked at the other person like, oh, well, do you want to just have a salad, or do you want to go somewhere else? Like, that's happened to me in both. I feel like if you travel, like, even if you haven't traveled with people before, like, you have an idea kind of how they are in general and, like, the kind of things that they do. Like, you know if your friends tend to eat at Fridays a lot or if every now and then, you know, they at the steakhouse. Like, you kind of know how they get down. So just because they're on vacation, they're still going to have that Fridays, Applebee's mindset. And they're going to want to go to places, like, around that. It's not if that's how you travel. But, like, if I know my friend loves Applebee's, I'm not going to try to go to this, you know, 3 Michelin star restaurant and be like, okay, girl, you ready? Like, let's sit down here and eat. And this, I know it's starting off at 100, you know, for the basic meal with no drinks. Like, that's like a setup.
Yeah.
For them to just sit there and be like, I just had a water and just smell your plate. Like, that's not fair.
You are crazy.
But then also, I think it's mad uncomfortable if you go out with someone or, you know, you out in the group and then, like, even if everything is kind of affordable, But, you know, you ordering the lobster and you ordering the bottles. And then, this person sits over here and they're like, well, I know what my limitations are. Let me just get this salad and have this one Diet Coke. Then the bill come, you're like, all right, we're going to split this evenly between the 5 of us. The salad girl is like, wait a minute. My salad was $7.50 and my meal was approximately $12. But everybody else has got lobster. They got dessert, appetizers going all over the place, bottles being popped. Now we're splitting, everybody paying $65. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I think
like, what do you do in that situation?
Usually, if I know somebody, like if somebody says I'm only gonna get this and this is all that I want, obviously they're saying, you know what, I'm not comfortable paying for lobster and champagne, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even include them in the split. I'd just be like, you know what, give us your $12 and then we're gonna split the bill. After that.
But it could be a situation like I normally, when I'm in a group, I'm comfortable with just splitting it because I hate just itemizing the bill. But there was a situation where I was in a group and every time we went out to dinner, there were certain people who would always ball out and expect you to split it.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like,
that's
okay,
not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Like, if I know, like, if I want a nice bottle of wine or champagne and it's really expensive, that's my taste, right? So I might say, you know what, to the waiter, put that on a separate tab so that I can pay for that myself, even though everybody else enjoys it.
Right.
But you can't expect for everybody to have, like, their preference and their priorities to be the same as yours. Like,
yeah.
But then you definitely don't want to go with somebody, like, if you're on vacation and everybody's going jet skiing and they're like, okay, well, I don't have any money to go jet skiing. I'm not going to do that. Then you go horseback riding and they're like, I don't have any money to do that. So that.
Yeah. But the one thing that kind of drives me crazy is people who, when you travel, they don't step outside their comfort zone.
That's a good one.
And
that's a very good one.
They just, like Denisha said, well, I'm just going to go to McDonald's. Like, really? We came all this way.
Right, like, they don't have nothing different, girl. A Big Mac is a Big Mac is a Big Mac, girl.
Exactly.
The mall. I just want to go shopping and you could go shopping at home. Gucci is Gucci wherever you go.
Right? Yeah. But, and it's funny you said that, Lex, because I was thinking that when Sarita mentioned the homesick person who, can't disconnect from home. I put that, like, along with the person who also compares everything to home. So home for me is clearly America. So the person who's on travel and, like, they're like, oh, but in America we do this. So in America the burgers are better. Well, they fry the chicken harder in America. Well, if I was in America, we would have ice in our water. Well, if I was in America, I was like, well, girl, you need to get on the flight and get back to America. Is what you need to do. Because I am not doing this with you. Because I have been on trips with people like that. I'm like, oh, well, in America they do this. Oh, girl, this. They season their food better in America. And they would do this like this in America.
That's why I travel alone a lot, though, because I just don't have the patience sometimes for all of that.
Girl, well, you smart. And sometimes, like, there are some places, like, I've traveled by myself before. Like, not a problem. But there's some places that I actually won't go by myself. And some things I won't do by myself. Like, for me, I like to go to wine bars and I like to try cocktail bars and things like that. I won't do that by myself because that's at night and I'm drinking and I'm in a foreign country. I don't speak the language. So, like, I'm not doing that. When I went to Poland, the first part of the trip, I was by myself. And I really wanted to go to some of these shot bars and vodka bars, but I'm not about to be out in a foreign country, 10 o'clock at night, taking vodka shots, and I don't know what y'all saying. Like, that's just something I don't do. Like, I'll go out during the day or whatever, sit at the hotel bar, do that kind of thing, but I don't go out at night by myself when I travel. I don't feel comfortable with that.
It's funny because when I was in Paris, I didn't feel safe at all in Paris. So I didn't go out by myself in Paris. But in other countries, like when I was in Spain and Madrid and Barcelona, I definitely went out at night by myself. And it was totally safe. Like, you meet people, somebody's going to speak English. The cab driver's phone number, just in case you have to make an emergency, phone call, get out of there. Yeah, so I've gone out. I go out. I just don't get drunk.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely not. But me, I guess I'm always, I don't know, always hesitant. Like, I don't want nobody to put nothing in nothing. You seem a little too friendly. Why you keep bumping into me? No, you don't have to buy me no drink. I don't know what's happening here. Like, I don't want to be on the episode of What Happened to My Daughter Abroad. Like, I don't need that to be my story. So.
Oh my gosh.
My brother being interviewed, like, we talked to her and she knew better. We just don't know what happened.
Yeah, my nickname is Taken, so you can't take my advice. Please don't take this advice and go out by yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, I'll walk past bars and be like, wow, that looks fun, but no. But then also I think sometimes, like, you just have a gut instinct that you really have to pay attention to.
Yes.
Like, Tuanni said she didn't feel comfortable in Paris going out at night. Okay, that's fine. Depends on what area you go to. Not safe.
Yeah.
And by not safe, I just mean, like, sometimes you just don't feel comfortable because you just don't know.
Right.
I don't feel that way because I'm here. So there really isn't, I mean, I think everywhere has places where you're like, ooh, I'm not going out over there.
Are you
It's places in Chicago. It's places in Chicago that I ain't going at night. And
right? There's places
I know
in
that
LA
place.
where I wouldn't go out by myself at night. Like, okay, no.
Right.
But
So you just have to definitely, if you are traveling, whether, you know, domestic or abroad, like, you have to go with your gut instinct. And if you don't feel comfortable, then, you know, don't go.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, you might go to Atlanta and be like, oh, I'm just about to kick it by myself. But not right here in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the other neighborhood that somebody told me about. So definitely follow your gut instinct, especially since alcohol would be involved.
Yeah.
Because that is a real thing. That, you know, people will drug you. People will kidnap you. Like, not to, you know, try to do some kind of scary thing or take a whole different turn, but it happens.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So
Your kidneys be missing.
Wait. So my last question was like, so where is everybody going next?
Ooh, well, I'll go.
Okay.
I am going to Grapevine, Texas.
Yay. Okay.
How about that?
Why are you going there?
Some grapevines. What's happening in Grapevine, Texas?
Believe it or not, Texas, which I'm surprised to not make your list, is one of the growing wine areas in the United States. And the Wine Tourism Conference is in Texas this year.
Now, is that Austin?
I just read that Austin was going to be one of the next top wine destinations of 2016.
How far is Grapevine from there?
It's about, I think, an hour and a half. So it's somewhere in, it's not really Grapevine, but that's like the closest big city. Okay. So it's in between Texas and San Antonio. Like, you have to fly into either one of those cities.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Tanisha, where are you going next?
So I mentioned previously I'm going to Loire next weekend.
Okay.
And then in a couple of weekends I'll be going to Spain and then visiting the Penedès region with a couple of awesome blogger friends of mine. So we'll be up to some shenanigans.
All right. All right. Tuanni, where are you going next?
Napa, Sonoma. Back to South Africa in December.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
I need to get on your travel plan. One question, if I could ask another question.
Please.
What was the coolest place you've been to, or like your favorite place that you've traveled for wine or like any kind of alcohol, really? What was your favorite? Most memorable? Anything like that?
Please,
okay, everybody at one time. Right.
Please, somebody else go, because mine is so basic.
You know, I went to Napa. I mean, and that's going to sound really basic, but I went to Napa with, I don't know, you guys know a Minority Report, Thaddeus?
Yeah, sure.
So Thaddeus knows so many people in Napa, and it was the best Napa trip that I've ever had because we tasted at really exclusive, nice wineries. It was like behind the scenes Napa. And And that was probably like one of my most memorable wine experiences. We ate at really great restaurants and tasted at some really great wineries. I mean, so I've been all over the world, and I've had some great experiences, but I really do love Napa.
Oh, good. Good.
Right.
Leslie, what about you? Where have you
Well,
been
I
that you loved?
just came from Provence.
Really?
And,
Tell us
Right.
more.
Yes.
and that was beautiful and picturesque. And
Did you get to see the lavender?
no, I was disappointed about that. We weren't able to, but there was so much lavender, so many lavender vendors
Okay.
that that was really nice. That was yeah. So I really, and have fallen in love again with rosés and now not in the abundance that I had there, but that was wonderful.
Those rosés are bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Sarita?
So I unfortunately have not been outside the U.S. I'm gonna say
That's
that.
fine.
I'm gonna say that softly. But my favorite wine region probably has to be Portland.
Yes.
Because you don't necessarily have to be outside of the Portland area to experience their wine. They have so many like tasting rooms and collaboration organizations where you can just taste wine anywhere in Portland and you just feel like you're in wine country. So I had a great time in Portland. I really loved it.
I'm gonna put that on my list.
Yeah, I love Portland. I really did. The food and the wine scene was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's good, yeah. And
For
they do a
real.
lot with street food and like food trucks and
Yeah,
vendors and like
absolutely.
that kind of thing.
God.
Yeah. I went there for a bar institute a few years ago. It was great.
I had some of the best tacos I've ever had. I'm really picky with tacos. I'm serious. I'm serious about tacos, okay?
Tacos are your thing.
I'm serious. I'm serious about seafood and tacos. Tacos.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, I had some really good tacos in Portland. They also make really good coffee. My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Portland.
I want to go to Portland now, man.
Portland's wine scene, their food scene is outstanding. So, yeah, that's mine.
There was just that was my second.
What's it?
It was my second, and the reason why I love it so much because in my mind, the myth of it being rainy all the time and super wet in their wine region is so false because I just thought, well, how can any grape grow in this area there? But the further you move away from Portland, the drier it gets. So that's what I love about that.
Well, all right.
Well,
anything else? Any other questions? You got a quiz for us, Sarita? Because you usually have
I think
a hot quiz.
Yes, I think I am done. This was great. Thank you for joining us, Tuanni. I appreciate it.
Oh my goodness.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, Tuanni.
Always a pleasure.
I love having you.
You guys are so amazing.
It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, this was fun. If nobody has anything else, then we can log off.
Well,
all right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us last week. Cheers.
Bye.